Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne. It's Wednesday, July the 3rd. The year's 2019. Let's talk trading. Quick fix. Have you ever looked for a quick fix in trading? Let's be honest. I think we all have. Looking for that indicator that's going to make you rich, or look for that hot stock that's going to make you rich. Quick fix. This new hot method that everybody's, putting thousands of posts on some trading forum, quick fix. There's a lot of promises, snake oil out there. But the reality is that trading is simple, but it's like chess. You can learn the rules in an afternoon, but it takes a lifetime to master the game. There's pretty much no quick fix. But, if you get anywhere near the amount of trading email in your inbox like I do, you'll see these people are trying to get you to buy what they're selling, these quick fixes. And they really know how to push the buttons too. But the reality is there's really no quick fix. But there is one thing you can fix, and I think you know where I'm going. That's on your risk and money management. Because if you don't have that under control, if you don't have that quote unquote fixed, it's the road to ruin. So remember, this is what's going to keep you in the game is your risk management. How much you're willing to lose per trade. And those of you who maybe think I'm beating a dead horse, I'm not. Because all you have to do is look at your history and you can see if you're in the red, it's because you failed to manage the risk. Okay, gaps. Weekly gaps, you see, we still have a few open. It's Wednesday. Tomorrow, Thursday the 4th, will be a holiday in the U.S. I don't think there'll be too much action, but nonetheless, there might be some. So as you can see, we broke through the lower wick zone of the previous week's candle here. But now we've come back up 30 pips off the low. So that trade was good for about 30 to 33 pips if you nailed that low point. And on the daily, you see here, we opened below previous day's midpoint. So that gave us a short bias. And you can see the year, the month, the week, and the day are all red. Somehow I messed up and stopped the video. Sometimes if I pull the wrong thing, it moves the video screen area versus scrunching the chart. I have to be careful. So you can see here, yesterday we entered the opening day of the week range here, and then we shot out and we're still below it. And for the month, we're above June open, but below July and the rest. And that same is no longer true. You can see we're now in June's opening day range right here. See, we're 3 pips below the high. Now 2 pips. And you can see we've now entered that inside bar that happened 10 days ago. So you see how it just changed into gray, showing that the price is actually inside the bar. And you can see here on $CAD, we had an inside bar yesterday. And price shot through it. So once again, simple trade, that inside bar trade. You may or may not want to use that in your trading arsenal. And on the daily, you see we have minimal range here on the euro yen, 51 pips. And we only have 4 pairs over 100. Okay, we've had some H1 lowest opens. You see here, we put in the monthly H1 lowest open again today as price has been dropping the past 3 days. But you can see here taking that trade off of that lowest open puts you in the profit. Looking at the buy zone here, we had the pivot above, long trigger here was either a scratch or a loss going short. You see we're below that weekly open and we missed the pivot yesterday. Looks like so far we've missed a pivot today. The short paid off. Short again here, heading back towards the VWAP, the volume weighted average price, which is normally a squiggly, but I only like to show the current price. Rats, you can see here, not much separation between the zones, only a 50 pip range. So the green rats have enjoyed and the red rats have enjoyed. Not much, but some pips to be had there. We missed that daily pivot here, but we took out the weekly and the monthly yesterday. We hit S1 on the daily. Here's the monthly S1 and weekly S2 right here. You know, there's really no magic numbers, this pivot, but the thing is that traders rely on this number so we can exploit that behavior. See, it's not the number itself, it's how people react to the number. So looking here at these 2 missed pivots for the month of July, these are targets that we would think may be taken out. Of course, you know, there's some that haven't been taken out. I mean, from, you know, let's see, a couple years ago or a year ago, 2018, here's a couple of pivots missed by 800, 1,000 pips at the moment. We're away from it, but you see it only missed by 2 and 7. There's so far hasn't missed by much. And we've got a couple here from May, one from April, and you see all those pivots are above. But if you look at price oscillation here, I would venture a guess these pivots get taken out, possibly later this month. But remember, fellow traders, these videos are for educational purposes only, and your results may differ from mine. So, contact your professional advisor, financial advisor. Price action, simple. Where price opens, price doesn't like to stay within that range usually. You can see here there's this one that was an exception to the rule, and it's a rule of thumb based on statistics, based on average range. Oh, in fact, that reminds me of a question I had. Let me just skip ahead here a couple of charts. Somebody was asking me about the Einstein line and where do you set the triggers? Okay. So you can, the threshold is in pips. So you can see I've got mine set at 2.5 pips. Where did that come from? Well, I basically looked at the spread and it was like, okay, the spread is like 1.5 or so. So I added a pip to it. I mean, it's like, I figure price wants to move at least 2 spreads. So if I get in at, a spread and a half, then that gives me enough room that, maybe worst case, I have to scratch the trade. But as you can see here, since I opened this trading profile, one trigger long and it's paid off. And somebody also, I think it might have been the same trader, asked me about, do I consider the H1 candle color? Because on their chart, they used the M candles and they had like the H1 in the background. It's like, yeah, sure, you can use that as a bias. You can use anything as a bias. Because you can look at the H1 and depending on where it is and what color it is, you can go, oh yeah, maybe I can exploit some of that range. So yeah, that's something you can do here. So once again, simple price action trading screen. Oh, and I was looking at another thread, the guy talking about price action, but once again, they failed to define it and they try and mask it in esoteric terms as though it's something that has to be imparted from the scrolls that only, the high priest can read and interpret. So, if somebody can't explain it to you simply, then they just don't know what they're talking about. Price action at the line, just going with the flow here. There was a nice short, and I guess that was the beginning of the Asian session there. And you can see here we came back. Oh, on the tick chart, you see we had that little up move here. We had the, right there's the valley of the ask. And the bid came up above it. And you can see here, and once again, valley of the ask. And then finally, now we got some down motion. But that was a nice little run there. Put a few pips in the pocket. So that's it for today, fellow traders. Just remember those quick fixes, these indicators that are gonna, tell you the trend and the price action and the blah blah blah. There's a sucker born every minute, right? And a fool and his money is soon parted. So don't look for the quick fix. I mean, the fundamentals of trading and the fundamentals in anything in life. You just learn them, you practice them, and it takes time. And you have to be patient. And patience doesn't just mean sitting there doing nothing. Sometimes you're actively engaged in observing and you're waiting patiently. And that's all it is. So remember, as you're trading, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks.